everyone's looking at you as the last man, and not everyone can play it. Just mentally, can you handle being scored on? When I went to Irvine Zeta, they had me higher up the field. So I was not just like playing out the back behind my defenders, I was playing out the back next to my defenders.
Welcome, Matthew Escareño, to the Young Athletic. How you doing today?
All good. Happy to be here.
Yeah. I was checking out your profile. You've got a bunch of things going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Westmont, you've got Loyola, you've got GKU Union.
Yeah, GKU 805.
805.
Mm-hmm.
So which one is sort of inspires you the most right now? Which one are you loving the most?
Ooh. Well, the first one was GKU 805 because that's been going around since 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm currently at Loyola High School. It's winter season, so high school season starting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Westmont College really was a great opportunity, and I just want to go back there. Yeah. Like right now we're in winter break.
Yeah.
But it was such a great environment, great atmosphere, great players, and it was a long season. Even though it's 3 months, it's like 6 days a week. I'm looking forward to when I come back in January with the guys and just improving, continue coaching there.
What was the environment like? What made it so special?
At Westmont College, it's a small private Christian school.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 1,300 students. First time I ever went there, it's just beautiful campus, beautiful getting up there in Montecito, Santa Barbara area, and the coaching staff. It was amazing, very welcoming. They're very demanding on the soccer aspect, but very welcoming and very, willing for me to grow with them. And the players were all awesome. It was a great experience. I'd be walking around saying hi to all the staff, the faculty, and it's a great place. And I'm really blessed to be a part of that environment right now.
Was that your first time at Westmont?
It was my first time at Westmont. I hear about Westmont, but once they were looking for a goalkeeper coach and I went on campus, I was looking around and it's like, this place is amazing. It's beautiful, like 10 minutes from the beach, up in the mountains. You're like in the forest. It's on hills, it's not too crowded, very quiet. A lot of people have, parents would come up to me and that aren't from there, and they're like, Matt, it's super quiet up here. It's like, it's very peaceful. That's a great word to put it, peaceful. And I'm really looking forward to coming back in January and being part of the team. And
what did you learn from your first season with them?
First season, just the amount of preparation it takes in the college level, from set pieces to video analysis to scouting the other teams. And at Westmont College, we did meetings every day before training, the morning of the game, just so we have the most advantage when we step on the field.
Yeah.
The most so we can be prepared to play how we want to play and what we're expecting the other team to play, and to give ourselves the best chances to win. So that just
how was the season? Did you guys do well?
In the beginning, it was okay.
Yeah.
And last season, they actually won the Pac-West Conference Championship.
Okay.
And then they went to the NCAA tournament. This season was a rough year. Yeah,
What happened?
Half the team were new. Like, I could say the reasons, but college season is so hard to get like a whole group of new guys and try to replicate the year before while other schools are trying to be better than you.
Yeah.
And we were expecting to have a better season, but it didn't fall for our favors.
Yeah.
And
was there a lot of turnover from last season? Like a lot of new players or old players returning?
I believe half the team were new.
Okay.
A lot of freshmen, a lot of transfers. And we did have a good group of guys. And we couldn't find the result during season. In the beginning of preseason, we looked good. And then we dropped points. And it took us a while to get the team clicking together to play as a unit. And towards the end of the season, we actually started playing really well to the point where our last game we won 3-0, which was a great success, but it was a little too late. Yeah. But I feel this spring coming up and this fall coming up, we're looking at high expectation, a higher standard for us to succeed.
What about you're at Loyola right now, in the middle of their high school season? How's that going?
We're 3-1-1. You know, we came back last year. We had an amazing year. We went to 2 finals, an open division final, which is the top 8 schools in that region is only allowed to play. And we upsetted 2 schools, Modern Day and I believe it was Hart High School. And we went to the final and we lost against J. Sarah. Great school. They were ranked number 1 in the nation.
Oh, wow.
So it was the number 1 team in the nation. But we lost, and then we came back for the regional, I believe, or the state final again. And J. Sarah was there up in the final again, and we lost again away. But this year, coming back, we have a younger side, but it's a really good squad still. Some might say more talented than last year.
Really?
Yeah. And I was a little worried about coming back, like how the team was going to play, because I lost the 2 seniors goalkeepers that I had last year, and they were really good. And now I have 3 juniors goalie, and they're younger, inexperienced, but they're doing the job, which is really good. And they've been performing, all 3 of them.
So that's 5 total?
5
goalkeepers?
2 seniors from last year that graduated.
Oh, okay, they graduated.
And I have 3 juniors this year, brand new to the varsity team. And they
do they split time, or do they have a starter and they stick with it?
We have a starter right now, but in the preseason we were splitting time to give everyone an opportunity. But right now we're in preseason, and we treat every game like a championship game,
Yeah.
And we lost 1 game against a really good school in San Diego this past week, and we bounced back with a 2-0 win against Oceanside. So we're in a good spot. 3-1-1. We got some games coming up, and then we have a college showcase in late December in Chapman University, and then season's going to start in January, and I'm pretty sure we're going to go far this year.
What's it like coaching college and high school, like right next to each other? What's the difference?
Well, college, they're more mature. They're on their own. Yeah. High school, they're still living with their parents. And the thing about Loyola High School, it's a preparatory school. So they really have high standards in academics and even athletics.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say that Loyola High School treat their sports programs close to a college program. Just high standards with film and trainings, and every training session there's purpose to it. And
good coaching staff.
Great coaching staff.
Yeah.
Every coach has a role. I believe there's 6 coaches on the varsity team. But every coach has a role, and like my role is focus on the goalkeeper. So I try to do my best in helping the 3 goalkeepers that I have into becoming better players and human beings. And every coach on that staff really provides and helps the team, And high school, it's of course a slower level, but I feel like especially that high school, they really have high standards in everything we do. I came through a public high school, and it wasn't close to the standards we have at Loyola High School, But that was a different time. Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your playing experience. I know you formerly played with Fusion.
Yeah, I played with Fusion 2022, but I could start off with I was born in Santa Barbara. My family, we moved to Oxnard at the age of 3. I grew up playing local league here in Oxnard till I was 18. Mm-hmm. I played with the Oxnard Waves, the Royal Puma back then. I played for Oxnard AC, if that's still around. And, I was looking at colleges, and San Francisco State was a college I was looking at high school. It didn't go through. And Oxnard College was an option, and I played at Oxnard College the first 2 years after high school. And that was a great experience because I was staying locally while playing and, going to school for my degree.
Mm-hmm.
After 2 years, I went to Cal State San Marcos, a Division II school in San Marcos, San Diego County. I played 2 years there. Great experience. Beautiful area, too. And then right after that season, I got a cold text from a coach. He was at Albion San Diego. It was a semi-pro team at the time and playing NPSL back in 2019, and asked me to, try out. I tried out. I made the team, and first time signing a contract, a pro contract. At the time, they were handing out pro contracts for NPSL. Started playing. First time playing at that level. And it was really good off of a good senior year. I was about to play my first Open Cup, and then COVID happened. And we all know COVID, 2020. Season shut down, and went back home. Try to stay fit. I came back to Albion, San Diego in 2021. Preseason, I rolled my ankle, out for 6 months. And it was a tough time, especially when you were at a super high. Like I was at a good spot playing, I was on that trajectory going up, and then injuries happened, COVID happened, out of my control, and came back 2022, and they were going to play at NISA for the first time, and did the whole preseason, didn't get picked up after 6 weeks. And then that's when I hit a Fusion, VC Fusion. I had a friend that was training with them, asked for the coach's number. The coach replied back to me. He said, will we give you a week trial? came in for a trial, and signed right after. And that was 2022. And that year, we had a really big year, going all the way to USL 2 final and winning it. It was a great group of guys. You had Nathan Opoku, you had Logan Farrington, Gio, you had Booba, guys that have been on this podcast before. Yeah. You had every player was really good on that team. And
what do you think clicked for that season and you guys? Because a lot of things have to work out for you to get all the way there.
As many know, VC Fusion always brings a lot of talent. They have great squads, but having the talent doesn't mean you're going to win. So, you need talent, but you need people to buy in, and you need leadership. I always looked up to Gio, even though Gio was a younger than me, actually. Oh. He was like a year or two younger than me. But how he carried himself and how he, lead by example, that I bought into it, and I'm sure many players bought in. And just, how players lead by example. Nathan Opoku, one of the best players, but one of the most humble players on the field. Never had a big ego. Always was nice to people, Logan Farrington worked hard, was a great player. Booba, great player, always interacting with guys off the field. It was a great group. And I was talking with players and the management after that year. And, we look back and we're like, that was a great group. Coaches, they did their part. They really helped, from everyone on that staff. And, I still remember, like, right before we went to Davis, the head coach said, like, we're fourth on the conference. It doesn't look like we're going to get first, but let's push for that playoff spot. And we went to Davis, and we never lost a game. We kept on winning. Yeah, and then you were at the final, and final was a special final, at home at here at Ventura College. We had high expectation of home field.
They scored first.
Yeah. Second half. And it got quiet, but the guys kept pushing, and Nathan Opoku put off like a bike. You got to watch the film.
Yeah.
He put off a bicycle on his own. Like, he set himself up for a bicycle. 1-1 goes crazy. And then Marley Edwards, coming down the right flank, dribbles, hits it bottom left corner. We all go crazy. I believe last 3 minutes of the game. And then, it was a great night. We celebrated as a team together right down the street at Rycombe Brewery. Yeah, and then, that was a special night, and it was a great way to cap it off, a great season. And one thing I've learned, not a lot of people can experience winning a national title. It's very hard. I believe in the USL 2, there's over 400 teams. So being the number one team out of 400 plus teams is a great achievement, But that was a special year. And right after that season, I was looking at, where I can play, what I can do. And that's when coaching came in. Mm-hmm. My old college coach at Oxnard College, he asked me if I would, be an assistant coach.
Really?
At Oaks FC at the time. Back in 2022 fall, I helped out a couple of teams, being
club soccer.
Club soccer.
Oh, okay.
First club soccer day, they had me working with 3 to 5 year olds, and if anybody in the coaching world knows, it's a hard job working with little ones, and so it takes a lot of patience, which I've been told I have a lot of patience with kids, you know. So it's a great quality to have, especially with 3 to 5 year olds. But I did club soccer, all ages, high school, middle school, boys and girls. And then the goalkeeper coach at the time, he went to San Diego, he went to Kansas. They asked me to be the goalkeeper coach, and that's what I do, you know, that I'm a goalkeeper. That's what I do. So I was being a goalkeeper coach while playing semi-pro at the time with a team out in LA. And then I believe it was January of 2024, an agent reached out to me and asked me if we could work together. And he got me a trial with Irvine Zeta at the time. It was a NISA team that was brand new, and it's based in Irvine. I said yes. I went in for a trial, and after, I believe, 2 weeks, they offered me a contract with the team. And it was a big choice to have because I had coaching. I had GKU 805 at the time. I created GKU 805, I believe, in the summer of 2023. You know, at the time, it was just an idea of doing private training. And actually, on the second day when I launched the account, an ex-teammate of mine, Antonio, which he played at VC Fusion before he went to the Faroe Islands to play pro, he reached out to me, and he was running a goalkeeper glove company called Glove Us, and he reached out to me and said, let's, work together. And Glove Us became one of my sponsors at GKU 805. And he helped me with, branding and marketing, trying grow my business. He has helped me in all my camps. He has helped me with so many things that I'm very grateful for. And it's been a great partnership after 2 years.
So I'm assuming you said no to that NISA contract?
No, I did say yes.
Oh, you did say yes.
So at the time, GKU 805 was growing more than I expected. And at the time, I was like, if I leave, I won't be in Oxnard anymore. I won't be in Ventura County. And I made that very clear with all the kids around me. And hey, I'm going to be playing professionally in Irvine. And I'm moving, but every weekend I would come back. So I did a drive every weekend, Saturday, Sunday. I go all the way back to Ventura County and just help out. And at the time, I was still doing the coaching job at Oaks too, but I would only go like one night a week. Okay. Yeah, so I was busy. It's not easy going through that LA traffic coming back all the way on this side.
Yeah, getting through LA almost any time of day is so hard. Early in the morning.
Yeah.
So the only time to do it.
I was living in West LA at the time.
Okay.
I felt like if I live in West LA, I'm half the distance to Irvine, half the distance to Thousand Oaks. And and looking back, it was one of the most stressful, busiest times I've went through. Yeah. Because I did not want to just end the GKU 805. I wanted to keep on going.
Yeah.
And it was hard because every morning I'd be training. I'd be physically exhausted, You know, I might have a little bruises here and there. And then in the evening, I will be helping training kids, you know, and I would do that Monday to Friday. So it was a tough year, you know, very exhausting, but very rewarding at the end.
Yeah.
Because it really helped me grow as a, you know, being a player. It's nice to have that insight of what it is to be a player while coaching, you know. And then it just being at Irvine Zeta, I was around great players. My goalkeeper coach there, he was awesome, Daniel Gonzalez. He has a big resume. Yeah. You know, he has been at Galaxy, Chivas USA, Colorado Rapids, and wow. I really take some inspiration from him, how he coaches. He was very loving, you know, and I try to do that to everyone that I'm around. I try, because no one wants a coach with, you know, like just strict all the time, you know. He was very loving, high standards, you know, always. But he would talk to me like off the field, or like how am I doing in my personal life, you know, just really connecting, not just as a goalkeeper, but as a human being. So I take a lot of inspiration from him. I have another goalkeeper coach I had at Albion. His name is Miguel Gutierrez. He's at New York Red Bulls right now. And he was the first goalkeeper coach that showed me very modern goalkeeping. You know, I believe back in the day, everyone know goalkeeping training, a lot of diving, a lot of reps, you know, go. Miguel really showed me the technical aspects, you know, the more details, positioning, you know, where to be, that modern goalkeeping, because goalkeeping has been evolving into, you know, an extra person on the field.
Yeah, I remember, you know, Pep Guardiola obviously revolutionized soccer and goalkeeping. But was that, when you were playing, were they playing with goalkeepers, you know, passing back to goalkeepers like they do now?
Yeah. I believe high school soccer, when I was back in the old days, 2016, it wasn't like that.
Yeah. So it's still new.
And then I went to Oxnard College, and that was my first time I was playing out the back a lot.
Okay.
And then same thing at college level, Cal State San Marcos, we played out the back a lot, and I was very good at my feet, so it was no problem. Albion San Diego too. When I went to Irvine Zeta, they had me higher up the field. So I was not just like playing out the back behind my defenders, I was playing out the back next to my defenders. Like, I was really high. And at the time, I was like, okay, just making sure if we lose the ball, I have to sprint all the way back. But I was playing like as a left center back.
Yeah.
You know, and
did it work?
It worked.
Yeah.
It works if everyone does their job. Yeah. Need to be at the right spot, and I have to do my job too. If I mess up a pass, it's over. Yeah. But Irvine Zeta, at the time when I first got there, there was this coach named Diego from Spain. You know, came from the Barcelona Academy. And he was there for the first month, and he wanted that goalkeeper to play as a center back. Wow. Like in the build-up. And, you know, I was very confident in playing that, and that's why, you know, he wanted me to stay.
Did you play on the field growing up? Or like, because most goalkeepers aren't that good with their feet.
Yeah. I was actually a forward when I first started playing.
Okay.
I was playing AYSO out here playing at Fremont Junior High in Oxnard, and I went from forward to center back. And then around the age of 10, 11, I was like doing half and half goalie. And then at the age of 12, I went full-time goalie. I really liked the position. It was, I had super fun doing it, and that's why I kept on doing it. But I now being the coaching side, and I get a lot of goalkeepers at the age of 6, and they're like, I want to be a full-time goalie.
What do you say?
I say, great, but you should mix it up a little bit, because I truly believe when you're starting playing soccer, you should experience playing on the field, at least a half. By the age of 12, 13, when you're starting to mature and grow, and the basics already, and you're learning about more tactics, you should decide either play on the field or play goalie. And that's usually my advice to parents. It's great to have them as goalie. Try to mix it up a little bit. You're 7 years old. You have so much time ahead of you. But it's not bad to be a full-time goalie at 7 years old. It's, if you love it, if you're having fun, go for it. I had a lot of kids, that I see, maybe they're struggling because goalkeeper is a hard position mentally. You're 10 years old, you get scored on, everyone's looking at you, as the last man. And it's could be mentally draining, and it's not everyone can play it. And not everyone can play because of physically they can make saves, but just mentally, can you handle being scored on? Can you handle, making the bad pass or not saving the shot that you should save? And can you rebound from that? And that's where the true goalkeepers will thrive in and will ultimately play at the next level. Yeah, but
I'm thinking like, you started playing out of the back in Oxnard College, and then you played even more forward at Irvine.
Yeah.
Did you have a preference? Did you like one more than the other? Do you like being on the field as a goalie, or is it too much risk?
I like playing out the back.
Yeah.
I got better with my feet over the years. When I was at Oxnard College, I could pass with both feet and maybe do some cuts, beat the forward and play the next pass. When I got to Cal State San Marcos, I started using the side volley more. So I was more dangerous on the counterattacks, and that's when I liked playing at San Marcos. They gave me the freedom to do whatever I want. I remember I asked the assistant coach at the time, I'm like, who do you want me to play? And he's pretty much play how you see. And I just played how I see, If I see the left back open, I'm going to play him. If I see the forwards open, I'm going to play him. But yeah, it comes with a cost, and I have to do it at the right times. So Cal State San Marcos was really fun playing out the back. They didn't really give me any restrictions, don't play too much. And then when I was at Albion, it was less playing out the back, but it got more physical, better players at that level. And then when I was at Irvine Zeta, we played out the back as much as we can, and it was very detailed to the point where we know exactly where we're playing, who we're playing, the options we had. At the time, we were doing the goal kicks, this how the new rule, the center backs are inside the box. Cal State San Marcos and Oxnard College, you know, if you're played back in the day, the center backs were outside the box. So being inside the box, more tight spaces, you know. So it was a different way of playing. But they're both awesome. Yeah. If I had to pick one, I like my time at Cal State San Marcos. I feel like we did well for that 2 years there. But yeah, now it's every team's doing it.
Oh yeah, so popular.
Youth, you know, they have the build-up line.
Yeah.
You know, they have the build-up line. I never played with a build-up line.
Yeah, that's new.
Yeah, so the game is evolving every year. I did my D license course here at Ventura College, and my educator, Steve Hoffman, I believe he's been on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said the past 5 years, there has been more rule changes in soccer and FIFA than the past 20 years. So it's just evolving, you know, more rules changes. You know, you have 5 subs. You know, when I was playing, there was only 3 subs.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then it's even
every year the handball rule changes.
Yeah. You got VAR now.
VAR.
Even VAR in college soccer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Westmont College, we had a couple games where VAR was used.
Wow.
Yeah. And that wasn't the case years ago, you know, especially in professional. But, you know, it's always evolving. And that's another thing, like, players have to adapt, as well as coaches. I have to adapt too, with the rule changes and the new ways. You know, so it's always a learning experience.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Do you have a goalkeeper that you look up to that inspires you, or that maybe motivated you in the beginning?
When I was young, I looked at Iker Casillas. Yeah. Was a good one because I was
Madrid.
Real Madrid. He was, you know, I'm a smaller goalkeeper. I'm not 6'5", so I looked at Iker Casillas as a role model, and he was very good.
Yeah,
you know. And then Manuel Neuer came in the scene, and he changed the game. He was known as the sweeper keeper. He got out the box. He was playing. He could play like as a center back, and David De Gea, when he was in Man United, he was just such a big shot stopper. Really, he was a goalkeeper I looked up to doing the K-save. You know, K-save was pretty new at that time.
What is the K-save? The position of your body?
No, it's when you get low and your legs are shaped as a K, as a wall. Mm. And that's a way you can make saves in short areas, short and tight spaces, especially in 1v1s. Nowadays, it's all about the spread save, which is, you know, kind of like you're doing the splits, you know, being big. And a lot of goalkeepers do that. Like Alisson from Liverpool is a great example of doing the spread save. But I looked up to David De Gea when he did those K blocks, and Manuel Neuer, you know, just being like amazing all the time. He did everything well, and he's still playing.
Yeah.
Still playing to this day, and I believe he's about to hit 40 soon.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I think nowadays I still look up to Manuel Neuer, but Thibaut Courtois from Madrid is awesome goalkeeper, being like that big frame.
Yeah.
You know, very quick.
He's probably the best in the world right now.
Donnarumma is up there.
Yeah,
Donnarumma. He's still 26 years old, and I believe today he got goalkeeper of the year for the FIFA Best 11.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's up there. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of them, a lot to name, you know. But Iker Casillas, when I was growing up, a little bit of Oswaldo Sanchez from Chivas, Mexico, when I was looking at Liga MX. So Oswaldo Sanchez was a good one that I looked up to, like just big, make saves, aggressive, loud. But yeah.
You told me you were a Man U
Fan. Yeah,
fan.
I'm a Manchester United fan.
How did that come about?
I was, I guess, playing FIFA and 2007, 2008, the best team at the time was Manchester United. It had the Cristiano Ronaldo, the Wayne Rooney, Carlos Tevez, Sir Alex Ferguson, the manager, and they were amazing. And then once Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013, it's been a rough decade ever since, more than a decade. But I just stayed with my team, I do like watching the Man Cities, the Liverpool, the Real Madrid, but I will always watch a Man United game. And, one day when I go to England, go watch a game at Old Trafford would be amazing.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. That Manchester United, being a Red Devil.
A Red Devil. I used to have a Man U flag. I think my grandparents gave it to me when I was a kid.
Yeah. Ever supported them?
I didn't watch that much soccer as a kid. But I think, 2006, I watched Barca beat... who did they beat? Oh, Arsenal. They beat Arsenal in the Champions League. It was Ronaldinho against Henry.
Yeah, I love Ronaldinho. Yeah. Ronaldinho was one of my favorite players to watch growing up. Like field player, it was him. Yeah. People always say, "Who's your favorite player, Messi, Ronaldo?" I'm like, Ronaldinho.
Oh, for sure.
Ronaldinho. Watch some highlights. He was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually the opposite. When I was growing up, I was watching so much soccer.
Really?
Nowadays, I do watch soccer, but not at the professional realm like how I used to. I'm more watching college soccer, high school soccer now.
Interesting.
Because that's where I'm in.
Yeah.
But I don't watch like full games of, Manchester United on a Sunday morning or Saturday afternoon. Yeah, but I do watch the Champions League and big games.
I love watching Champions League.
It's fun.
It's like the best soccer there is, really.
Yeah, the best competition.
Yeah.
Club for club soccer, like professional clubs, that's the biggest tournament as it gets. Yeah. Other than the World Cup.
Yeah, but like at the World Cup, the players don't know each other. They never play with each other like they do on their club team.
Yeah, and the thing with the World Cup, you're just playing for your nation, which is a great honor. Club soccer, you can just get everybody from every walk of life, You have, like, let's say Real Madrid, you have Mbappe from France, you have Thibaut Courtois from Belgium, Vinicius Jr. from Brazil, and those teams are super powerful.
Yeah.
More powerful than maybe some nations in the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but, Champions League's always fun to watch. They changed the format.
Yeah, they did.
It used to be teams of 4, be the best 2 teams in that group, and then you move on. But now it's like...
It's a league.
The top, 16 teams?
Yeah, I think go to the playoffs or something like that.
Yeah, it's something new, but I'm sure everyone will get used to it.
I don't mind the structure change. I miss the away goal change, where away goals were like a tiebreaker.
Yeah, that was fun because...
It just means so much more when you score an away goal.
Mm-hmm. That's actually true. Yeah, because it is hard to go to a stadium and 90% of the fans are booing you.
Yeah. It's got to count for something.
Yeah, it's and if you score that away goal, that means so much more.
Yeah.
That is true. Maybe they bring it back.
Maybe they bring it back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like once they change the rules,
They can't change it back.
They can't change it back.
Yeah, maybe. It depends on who's running FIFA.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I've seen the documentaries about FIFA, you know. If you haven't, look it up, you know.
Not known for their transparency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of behind the scenes stuff that, you know, not a lot of people know.
Yeah. Are you excited for the World Cup?
Yeah, the World Cup. Yeah,
You gonna
this
try to get a
summer.
ticket?
This summer, I'm actually have 4 games I'm looking at of going.
All here at SoFi?
No. So this summer I want to do this convention, a goalkeeper convention, IGCC, International Goalkeeping Convention, run by Phil Weldon. He's the first team goalkeeper coach at Philadelphia Union.
Okay.
He does it every summer, and it's a great place where goalkeeper coaches can come together and learn and network and grow.
Is it here in California?
It's in Philadelphia or Delaware. They're having a game in Philadelphia on the last day, 7 p.m. I believe it's Ivory Coast versus Ecuador, something like that. That would be a great game for me to just might as well like go watch a game.
Yeah.
And then I have a cousin. That wants to get some games at Mexico City and at Dallas. And he asked me, hey, I'm going to get a ticket. Do you want one? And I said, yeah, put me in for one, because I think right now it's the draw. Mm-hmm. You're not guaranteed, but you can apply for, because he's a big England fan. He's a quarter British, and he's a quarter Mexican. So I believe he wants to get a game of the round of 16 where England can play against Mexico.
Wow. Are they in the same group?
Or like, do you know 16. The tables?
Okay.
You know, like the tables. Like there's a good chance that it could be England versus Mexico at Mexico City.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, or it could be, you know, England versus Croatia or a different nation. So he has 3 games, 2 in Mexico City, 1 in Dallas. So hopefully he can get the tickets and I can make a flight over there. That'd be fun. I don't know about SoFi. Even though it's close, I would like to experience a game like at Mexico City or Dallas or maybe Philadelphia. But still got some time, you know, 6 months away. And yeah, I'd definitely go to a game. It's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
The prices that I've been looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. Very expensive.
Do you plan on going into one, Patrick?
I think so. No, I definitely want to go. I haven't decided what date. You know, and I'll probably just do it here at SoFi because it's the easiest.
Yeah. Lots of traffic.
Yeah, I've never been to SoFi. Have you been? Do you know what it's like? I know like the Dodgers stadium is terrible for traffic to get in and out of.
The Rose Bowl too.
And the Rose, I've never been in the Rose Bowl, but I wonder if SoFi's built, you know, better.
Yeah, I've never been to SoFi. I've been to BMO Stadium, watched a couple of LAFC games, some Angel City games too. BMO Stadium is small, but SoFi I've never been to, so can't really. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it'd be a great game. It's a closed stadium too.
Yeah.
I believe it's like 50,000 seats.
It's kind of like underground too. Like they dug a big hole.
Yeah, same thing with BMO Stadium. BMO is more underground.
Really?
Yeah. I think in LA there's not so much real estate, so you have to go under.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the World Cup's fun. It's
Who do you think's gonna win? You think Argentina can repeat?
There's so many teams. It's so hard. Even like last World Cup, like that was a great final, France versus Argentina. 3-3 going to PKs. But like once you get in those quarterfinals, anybody can win.
Yeah.
And
who do you want to win?
It's going to sound bad, but Argentina already won, so I don't want them to win. Not because I'm not an Argentinian fan or rooting for them. But it would be nice to see maybe Brazil and England too. England hasn't brought it home.
Yeah.
They haven't brought it home. You got Portugal is a strong one too.
I'm curious if, because Ancelotti is the new Brazil coach, I'm curious what he can do with that team.
Yeah, but they haven't been really doing too good in qualifiers too.
You think Neymar will come back? Because he's kind of been out for a while.
Injuries sucks, And I'm sure if he stays healthy, he can make a spot in that World Cup team.
Because he's still young.
Yeah, and there's so much experience. Neymar injury-free, like look up the highlights. He's
good.
He's amazing, Injuries really take a toll on him. But it's Brazil's going to be up there, Argentina, Portugal, England.
Spain maybe?
Yeah, that's another one. Spain's and they won the Euros. They're on a good streak right now. You have France. France is always good. Italy might make it, and I think they're still in the qualifiers. Italy still a big national team. Can't really look down upon them.
Okay, how far do you think the USA will get? You think they'll make it to the round of 16? To the quarterfinals?
If they make it to the quarterfinals, that's a great achievement, especially in the big World Cup. But they've been struggling, and it's hard because they have new managers coming in and out. There's so many players coming in the team. They have a great team. Push McKenna. McKinney, they have great players in that team, but kind of like we talked about at VC Fusion, it doesn't matter the talent. If they can't buy in and play as a team, it doesn't matter. But US, they're going to go far too. Hope they go even farther than expected, and that would be a great, opportunity for them, especially playing in the U.S. Same thing with Mexico. World Cups, they always go far, and I'm sure playing Mexico City or even in the U.S., when they play in California, it's a home field,
Yeah.
So I still see Mexico going far too. Winning the World Cup, not so likely, but who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Could be.
Who are you going for?
I don't know. Probably, I'd like to see Brazil win.
That'd be cool. Oh, and then Germany. We haven't even talked about Germany. Too.
Yeah, I like Germany, but they, when they beat up on Brazil.
Yeah,
that
was
ago,
a bad one.
I was watching it with some Brazilian friends, and it was just like heartbreak for them. It's just like shock. The first goal goes in, okay. The second goal goes in, okay. Then third, fourth, fifth. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, if we're talking about 2014 World Cup.
2014, yeah.
I remember I'm watching in my living room, and I'm screaming to my dad. I'm like, it's 3-0. No, it's 4-0. 5-0. Like going on and on. That was a tough day for Brazil.
Yeah.
But it just shows like, hey, when you're anything can happen.
Yeah. I mean, that was Yeah, I mean Germany was just a machine that year.
Yeah.
Because Pep was the Bayern coach, and all the players were mostly from Bayern.
Yeah. Yeah. Thomas Mueller, Klose.
Yeah.
You Phil Lamb, Manu Neuer, Matt Hummels, and they won the World Cup that year too.
Yeah.
They beat Argentina 1-0. So that was a strong German team. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this World Cup's going to happen.
Yeah.
Bigger. It's a new World Cup format
teams,
too. More
yeah.
teams, and more games. It used to been, I believe it was, you have to win or play 7 games. Now it's like 8 or 9. So even more games. So be interesting to see. But yeah, Brazil
I
could
think
win
so.
it.
I've always loved the flair of Brazil.
Yeah,
You know,
wearing the nice yellow gold.
that's a great color, canary yellow,
Yeah, canary
and even the
yellow.
blue. The blue's a good blue too.
Yeah, then you got Rodrigo, Vinicius, Casemiro, Neymar.
It'd be great to see Neymar again.
Yeah, one last time, and being like that leader, so much experience. He already played at, I believe, like 2 World Cups already. Yeah, so and that'd be
I think he's a top scorer for Brazil already.
that's true. That is true. Yeah, it'd be cool to see Brazil go far too. I'm sure they go far. Maybe
I'd love to see a Brazil game.
that's a good one
That'd
too.
be awesome.
Yeah, start looking at the tickets and
I looked at Brazil's like playing their games on the East Coast, all their like group
Group
stage
stage.
games.
yeah, I think on the West Coast it's more. You got the U.S. like California wise. I think it's Paraguay, Iran, Egypt, U.S. Some other smaller nations that I can't get in at the top of my head. There's so many teams.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would have loved to get some bigger teams.
Yeah, that'll be.
I think Switzerland too
Switzerland's
is
here.
coming to
Yeah.
California. Yeah,
Switzerland's a good nation,
good.
Yeah, not like a Brazil, but
Not
they're
Brazil.
still a top nation. Not to
I'll take a road trip
you take a road trip
and
to.
just go all the big games across the country.
Yeah. That's why I was thinking like the flights. I'm like, I go to Dallas to watch England play.
Yeah,
Yeah, England's another nation that has a big chance to win. Especially with Thomas Tuchel, they've been doing really good in the group
he's
stage.
a good coach.
Yeah, that's a hard team. Like England versus Brazil, like anything can happen.
That's true. That's true. I'd prefer to see Brazil win that game, but I could see like, England scoring on the counterattack or something like that, and Brazil not playing defense.
Yeah. That's why soccer is so amazing.
But just like the Brazilians touch, they have such great ball control.
Yeah.
It's like it's another level. It's crazy.
Yeah, playing, at the beaches when you're 5 and playing 2-touch and playing futsal.
Yeah.
Futsal has been growing here in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of more futsal. Like I have friends in the coaching world that are coaching futsal.
Really?
Yeah, especially here in California, up towards LA. You got some futsal courts, teams playing futsal like 6v6.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
it's getting more popular because when I was growing up, there was no futsal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the closest futsal is probably in Camarillo. I
Oh,
forgot
the-
the name of it.
The outdoor place, or is it a futsal place?
It's a futsal place,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, I forgot the name, but they're out there. Like
They're out there.
they're out there, but yeah, that's another way people can, get better on their touches, small spaces,
Yeah.
and Brazil has been doing that for years.
It really shows when you don't have a good touch and you try to play futsal. it shows.
Yeah.
Because you need that ball control in tight spaces.
People would step on it and roll it, and it's just fast. It's fast. It's fun. Yeah, futsal. Hopefully keeps on growing here in the U.S. I'm a bit advocate for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brazil. Never been to Brazil, have you?
I have, yeah. I went on a school abroad there.
Okay.
So I played soccer on the beaches with those guys.
Yeah. How's their touches?
Oh, they're great. What they do is they one-touch juggle in like a small group.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
Yeah.
But they got it down. But yeah, I played a little with them.
Yeah.
Scored a couple of goals.
Football. That over there is super big.
Yeah, they call it a futebol.
Futebol.
Futebol, because the T in Portuguese is like a ch.
So it's futebol.
Futebol, yeah.
Brazilian,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I've noticed. The U.S., you have so many different sports. So a lot of kids do play different sports growing up.
Yeah.
And then you have some nations like Brazil, they play futebol.
Yeah.
That's all they have. And it's not just Brazil, it's different nations, like
Argentina or Spain.
Yeah. Like football, soccer.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
In the U.S.
Like 5, you think? But football's number 1. American football.
You got basketball.
Basketball is maybe number 2.
Baseball
maybe
yeah,
number 2.
Baseball is big here in the U.S.
So those 3 are the top 3.
And then you got soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Hockey or soccer? What do you think?
I think soccer.
It's probably soccer.
But I think hockey is more big towards, Canada. Yeah, colder weather. But yeah, it's hard to compete, but soccer has been growing in the US.
It's so funny. It's like, it's the biggest youth sport with the kids, but like then they decide to go play other things.
Yeah.
Really, soccer's the foundation for all sports.
Yeah. Like when I was growing up, I was doing like a little bit of track and field, and then when I got into junior high, I was playing basketball.
Oh yeah?
But not like organized. I was just playing basketball at recess, at lunch, 2 whole years.
Wow.
And in elementary school too. But it was fun. I just played it.
Yeah.
Because they had it, but soccer was number 1 for me. And then once I got in high school, like I was thinking about like track and field or cross country, but I stayed with soccer. But a lot of kids, they're, playing 3 sports at one time.
Yeah.
And I deal with that as a coach and doing training kids. The parents would tell me, oh, he has baseball, he has basketball. Yeah. So the girls, they have volleyball. A lot of girls, they play volleyball. So it's a multi-sport athlete, which I think there's benefit playing different sports, different type of movement, and if they're having fun, go for it. Yeah. But other nations, they're like futebol.
Yeah. I mean, we're about an hour in. Is there anything you want to chat about? Anything you want to leave us with? Any message you want to share?
Yeah, I love coaching. It's a passion that I have, it's a calling that I have, and I'm very grateful and blessed of what I do. And I see myself continue coaching for years to come, and GKU 805, that's something I'm very passionate about because I grew up in Oxnard, and when I was growing up, I didn't have the coaching that I wish I had as a player. So I try to give that coaching and, mentorship and knowledge to everyone that I work with here in Ventura County. And, yeah, it's something I really take pride in. You know, I really put effort. Like I do a lot of trainings at my camps, goalkeeper camps at Oxnard Beach Park by Mandalay. Beautiful area, beautiful beach. I always tell parents I actually practice here as a kid, you know, and it's really cool. Years later, after finished playing, I can come back to the same park and give the knowledge to kids that were in my shoes. So it's a really good feeling, you know, every time I go to that park or different parks in Ventura. Like I've been to Ventura Community Park. I played games there, like growing up too.
Yeah.
Kimball.
Yeah, that's where we train at Kimball.
Yeah, Kimball. Like I remember playing games there since I was 10. So when I go there, it's a good feeling, you know, training kids. Sometimes I go to Camarillo, Pleasant Valley Field. I go in Thousand Oaks, and it's a really good feeling giving back to the next generation of kids. And yeah, I want to keep on growing as a coach. You know, I've been when I got into coaching, I noticed that I don't know a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go in coaching, there's so much.
It's different. You can play, but it doesn't mean you can coach.
Yeah, it's a whole different world, you know? Like as a player, like I could kick the ball, but can I teach it to someone that has never kicked the ball before? So that's coaching, you know? So it's a lot of teaching. And when I got in coaching, there's so much more learning, and I had to be humble. That's another part of being coach. You have to be willing to learn from different people, no matter what background they have. And yeah, so I've been doing a lot of shadowing coaches. I shadow a couple of academies, Galaxy, LAFC, their training sessions. I've shadowed a couple of college goalkeeper coaches, and yeah, just trying to learn more, networking, learning like what their view on this part of the game, and that's a thing. This summer, I really want to go to IGCC so I can even learn more, because it's not just one way of coaching. Like I pick up things from different coaches in my past, and because how I see fit and how like I see like this is a good way to coach. And I'm pretty sure you know this, like every coach is different, their philosophies, you know, how they approach things. And yeah, so continue to grow in coaching by learning from other people. I have some mentors I always text, and whenever whenever I have something to, like a problem that I have. So I have coaches that I go to, you know, mentors, I say, like asking questions about, you know, kids, or maybe learning or trying to be better. And then, yeah, continue growing GKU 805, keep on doing camps, keep on meeting new goalkeepers. I always see, I feel like every week I have a new goalkeeper I see. So I'm still seeing new people every single day. And
At GKU?
I get a lot of messages, and I do see the regulars, you know, but I do see new keepers, which is good, you know. It means doing something right.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, and
do you ever connect with like Mamba, the Mamba folk?
I know a lot of the coaches at Mamba.
Okay.
They're all friends and teammates of mine. Ian Hernandez, you got Suazo. I know Chava's there. I know Lalo's there. But yeah, I know them. I've known them, and then never collaborated. But yeah, maybe one day. But
Well, they do all the shooting stuff. They got to shoot on someone.
they do have a goalkeeper department.
Okay.
Ian Hernandez, he's their goalkeeper coach. Great coach, great person. He actually has helped me doing some things with GKU 805. One summer this past summer we did beach training in the summer. I asked him to help. He was willing to do it, and it was fun. It's fun going on the beach sand.
Yeah, it's
different
nice.
type of training, which I did as a kid, and that's what inspired me to do that. I'm like, I used to train in the sand, and I feel like I got faster, more explosive. Why not do it? So that summer we did it. It was very cool, especially with the little kids, being able to dive on the sand and not hurt themselves so much. Yeah. The bad thing is sand would get in your face, but it's a great training, great workout. You get faster. It's not easy, and that's how goalkeepers or anybody will get better, doing hard things all the time. And so I'll probably do that next summer. See how my schedule goes, because now I'm a college coach, so I got more things I have to do, and then keep on growing. I'm sure opportunities will come up. I see myself being a college coach, but if there's an opportunity in the professional world, I would love to take that chance and be a goalkeeper coach at a top professional club one day. Be great, But I still want to continue GKU 805 until...
It's fun to have your own thing.
Yeah. I could schedule when I want. And it's kind of like I said before, it's a great feeling when I grew up in this area, Oxnard, and after being a player, I come back as a coach, and I'm giving out this knowledge and being this mentor figure, role model to the next kids. I have been in so many conversations, not just little kids, but especially the college kids. Matt, what do I do? So I get into these conversations for like an hour or two, just like, I've been through this, I've done this, I've seen this, this is my advice. And then, like, that's me being, that mentor. And I wish I had a mentor when I was a player. I didn't really have too many mentors when I was a player until I went to college. But now being a coach, anytime a player reaches out to me saying, like, I need some advice, you have my number, you can always call me. So always being that, like, mentor to help the next generation, because, I know how valuable that is. Yeah. And now I have mentors for coaches and for every walk of life, what I do. But yeah.
Well, congrats on all the success.
Thank you.
And good luck with, all your teams at Westmont and Loyola and GKU 805.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Patrick.
You're welcome.